King Charles reportedly physically sick over constant Prince Andrew stress. It's going to kill him. Welcome, royal watchers, to Crown Chronicles, your go-to destination for the truth behind palace walls, royal secrets the tabloids won't tell you, and the inside stories that keep Britain's most powerful family under the world spotlight. If you love uncovering the hidden world of the royals, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because today's story is one that's shaking the palace to its very core. It's being whispered across royal circles and echoed in hushed tones behind the gilded doors of Buckingham Palace. King Charles is at breaking point. After months of unrelenting family tension and public pressure, insiders say the monarch has been left physically sick with stress, and at the center of it all is one man, Prince Andrew. The Duke of York has been a source of royal scandal for years now. His association with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, his controversial settlement with Virginia Giuffre, and his disastrous 2019 BBC interview left a permanent stain on the royal name. Yet despite everything, despite being stripped of his royal titles, patronages, and public duties, Andrew continues to cause turmoil within the family. And this time, palace insiders warn, it's taking a toll on King Charles's health. According to sources close to the monarch, Charles has been losing sleep, losing weight, and feeling physically ill from the never-ending stress caused by his brother's refusal to step away quietly. One insider reportedly confided, "It's the constant back and forth with Andrew. Every time Charles thinks he's finally dealt with the situation, something new happens. It's going to kill him if this carries on." The king has spent much of his reign trying to project an image of unity and stability, two things that have become increasingly hard to maintain. As the new head of state, Charles hoped to modernize the monarchy, focus on environmental issues, and strengthen public confidence. But instead, he finds himself trapped in a never-ending cycle of family drama, with his brother Andrew stubbornly clinging to privileges that the king believes should have been surrendered long ago. At the center of the current storm is Andrew's home, the Royal Lodge, a sprawling £30 million mansion on the Windsor estate. Charles, determined to streamline royal finances and reduce excess, reportedly wanted Andrew to move out and take up residence at the smaller Frogmore cottage, previously occupied by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The king's vision was simple: a modern monarchy cannot afford to be weighed down by the scandals of the past. But Andrew refused. He reportedly told friends that leaving Royal Lodge would be a public humiliation and a betrayal of his late mother's wishes. And that's where the emotional storm truly began. The king, ever mindful of his late mother's loyalty to Andrew, has found himself torn between family love and royal duty. Queen Elizabeth II was known to have protected Andrew until her final days, reportedly ensuring that his 75-year lease on Royal Lodge would keep him secure for life. That decision, made out of maternal love, has now become one of Charles's biggest headaches. Behind closed doors, the atmosphere is tense. Insiders claim that heated exchanges have taken place between the brothers. One source told reporters that Charles, usually composed and careful with his words, snapped during a recent discussion about Andrew's living arrangements, shouting that his brother was dragging the family down. The king is said to be furious that while he's trying to prove the monarchy's relevance in a changing world, Andrew continues to live a life of luxury, seemingly untouched by accountability. But Andrew has dug in his heels, refusing to move, claiming his residence is non-negotiable. His argument? The lease agreement he signed with the Crown Estate in 2003 is legally binding, meaning even the king can't remove him without a lengthy legal battle. For Charles, it's a nightmare scenario. The monarch, already dealing with mounting responsibilities, diplomatic tours, and ongoing scrutiny over his own health, now faces an emotional war at home that refuses to end. Reports suggest that the constant tension is beginning to wear him down. Close friends say Charles is exhausted by the unending Andrew problem. The king, they say, feels trapped, forced to choose between doing what's morally right for the monarchy and maintaining what's left of his family's fragile peace. It's heartbreaking, one insider admitted. Charles just wanted peace in his later years, but the stress from Andrew has made that impossible. It's affecting his health, he's simply not coping well. Those around him have noticed the change. Courtiers have quietly expressed concern that the king has been looking pale, thinner, and visibly drained during recent engagements. While Buckingham Palace insists that His Majesty remains in good health, those who've seen him privately describe a man carrying the weight of the crown, and the burden of family scandal. To make matters worse, Prince William and Princess Catherine are said to be losing patience. William reportedly believes his uncle's continued defiance is damaging the family's reputation and is urging his father to take firmer action. But for Charles, who has always sought to be a peacemaker rather than a punisher, that's easier said than done. The king knows that forcing Andrew out could cause an explosive family rift, one that would dominate headlines and overshadow his reign. And yet, doing nothing risks the opposite, the perception that the monarchy is weak, inconsistent, and unwilling to stand by its own moral standards. The pressure from both sides is relentless, to make things even more complicated. There are whispers that Andrew has been lobbying behind the scenes for a return to some kind of public role. Though officially sidelined, Andrew reportedly believes that time will soften public opinion. He's been attending church services near Windsor, sometimes with other family members, subtly signaling that he's not giving up his royal identity. For Charles, this defiance is like salt on an open wound, a reminder that the scandal he wants to leave behind keeps resurfacing no matter how hard he tries to bury it. Those closest to the king say the stress isn't just political, it's deeply personal. Charles has always believed in the concept of duty above all, something he's lived by since his mother's reign. Watching his brother refuse to show the same accountability has reportedly left him both heartbroken and furious. It's not about punishment, said one insider. It's about responsibility. The king feels that Andrew has never truly accepted his part in the damage done to the family. But for Andrew, there's a growing sense of desperation. Cut off from royal income, stripped of status, and shunned by much of the public, the Duke of York reportedly sees his royal residence and remaining privileges as the only things he has left. Those close to him say he feels betrayed and abandoned, believing he's been made a scapegoat to protect the monarchy's image. That sentiment has only deepened his resistance, and Charles's frustration. And so, the cycle continues, meetings, arguments, quiet appeals, and media leaks, each one adding more stress to a king already facing immense pressure from the public and the government. It's a situation so toxic that palace aides have begun referring to it as the Andrew cloud. No matter how much the royal family tries to move forward, it lingers, dark, heavy, and impossible to ignore. Some close to the king have voiced real concern. He's not a young man anymore, one royal watcher noted. The stress he's under, between Andrew, the demands of the throne, and the weight of public expectation, it's enough to make anyone ill. And indeed, sources suggest that Charles has had moments of visible exhaustion and even nausea during particularly tense periods. He's literally sick with worry, another said. It's going to kill him if he can't find peace. In the grand halls of Buckingham Palace, the king's struggle is clear, not against enemies, not against politics, but against his own heart. He's torn between the love of a brother and the duty of a sovereign, between mercy and justice, between peace and principle. And as the weeks turn into months, the question remains, how much longer can King Charles endure the stress of Prince Andrew before it truly takes a toll? For now, the monarch presses on, greeting diplomats, attending state events, smiling for cameras, while behind the scenes, the storm rages on. But even in a palace built on centuries of tradition and strength, there are limits to how much one man can bear. Thank you for watching Crown Chronicles. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the truth behind the royal family's most private turmoil, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on every twist and turn in this ongoing royal saga, because when it comes to the British monarchy, one thing is certain, behind the crown, there's always more to the story.